Hi class, and welcome to the Understanding the Fieldwork assignment PowerPoint and video. This will help you understand one of the major assignments in the course. We'll be talking about the Fieldwork assignment. It, like all the other major assignments in the class, are kept in the Assignments folder, which is located in the course material page. This is what it looks like. If you open that assignments folder, you'll see all of the major assignments in the course organized into folders. First you have the midterm, then the interdisciplinary unit, and the third one is the fieldwork assignment. Let's see what's in that folder. First, you're going to have a set of instructions and grading rubric that we'll be going over those in the video. And then you're going to have a document called Schools to Watch, which is actually a rubric that helps you identify best practices in middle schools. You'll be using it in this assignment. The third one is the fieldwork assignment link that you submit to once you finish your paper. And finally, the fieldwork log link. This year we don't have TaskStream, so there's been a link that's created for you where you'll fill out some information about how and where you did your field work. First, let's go over the assignment. So the purpose of this is to help you understand what the average day is like in a middle school. And it's going to involve 3 interviews that you may conduct by phone or email, or video conferencing through Zoom, etc. That's the first part of the assignment. And then you're going to do some classroom observation that we'll get into. This assignment may not be revised or resubmitted because it occurs very late in the course. And so there's an ample time to get it regraded properly. Your fieldwork hours for this course should be completely separate from your fieldwork hours for the other courses that you take. And so this is because it's a NYSED or New York State Education Department requirement. So what are you going to do? First of all, you're going to select a middle school for observation and contact them to obtain permission. Note that there's a permission to observe form that we didn't see, but it's in the folder of the assignments folder for this assignment. And this is basically a form signed by the dean that allows you to go into the middle school. It tells everyone there, the principal, the teacher, it's a valid assignment. You don't have to get anything signed and returned to us. That's just to help you get into the classroom. Then you're going to try to find 3 individuals from that school, and they should have different roles. You might choose a teacher, a teacher's aide, and a parent whose student goes to the middle school. You might choose a principal, a guidance counselor, and a teacher, but there should be people with 3 different roles. A lot of times once you get in, especially if it's with an administrator, and you say, look, I need to interview 3 people, they'll help you and they'll say, well, why don't you try these 2 people? So then you're going to review the Schools to Watch document that I pointed out before, and you're going to develop 10 interview questions that you would like to ask these people. Now, you're not going to ask a school counselor the same thing that you would ask a teacher. So for a teacher, you might ask, what's the hardest thing about teaching a class of 30 middle schoolers? For a guidance counselor, you might ask something like, how do you support teachers? So you're going to develop for each of the 3 people a set of 10 questions that you feel are broad enough. They shouldn't be yes/no questions. So you shouldn't say, do you like teaching middle school? Yes. It should be, what do you like teaching about teaching middle school? And that would give them a chance to be more open-ended and expound on that. So no yes, no questions, 10 questions, different questions for different roles. You're going to conduct your interviews and record your participants' responses. So that's the organizational part of part 1. Part 2 is an observation. Go in and observe at least 2 classrooms from the same school. They should be from different core subject areas. So for example, you might choose one science and one English, and the total observation should you should observe for a total of at least 3 hours total. And then write your report. And the summary of the report is given here. The introduction that tells where you did this, the summary of each interview, written like a narrative. So you're not going to answer your own questions. You're going to weave a narrative. I interviewed Mrs. So-and-so on such and such a date. I asked her about her background in teaching. I asked her what she liked. Write it as if it's a story. That's what a narrative is. You're going to write a summary of your observations. So what strengths did you observe that best align with the schools to watch rubric? What weaknesses did you observe? So you're looking to just summarize what you saw and what strengths and weaknesses using that schools to watch rubric as a guide. Your reflection, what did you learn about best practices? And this should be not a conclusion, but a summary of what you learned from this assignment. What will you take into your classroom? Remember to include your 30 questions, 10 for each participant, that you used in an appendix. You're going to proofread it and upload it into Blackboard. And then since we no longer have TestStream, I provided a link there for you to upload your fieldwork log or fill out your fieldwork log. When you click on that link, you'll go to a form that looks like this. Simply write the information in about where you did your observations and your interviews. If you would like to see how this assignment will be graded, you should look at the rubric that's in this document. You're going to be graded on an introduction, how well you summarized your interviews. You're also going to be graded on your summary of detailed observations for your classroom observations, whether you wrote a meaningful and insightful reflection that shows what you learned. You didn't just write a conclusion. Whether you included your questions in an appendix, and whether you followed spelling and grammatical conventions of APA. So that's it. I hope everybody has a great week, and please do feel free to email me with any questions. Thanks, everybody.